Well, hello, this is Linda Carbonell, the producer and co-host of Life School 101 with Mary Adams. We have a returning guest with us today. He is a self-mastering mentor. Now, he's going to describe what that is in a minute, and so isn't Mary. But our topic today is finding our authentic self, which it's part of his book. So he wants, it's Waking Up in a Dream is the name of his book, and it's a great book. So we're going to be talking more about the book. He's actually going to be sharing with us tools that we can use in our daily lives, which I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to just turn it over to Mary for her thoughts before we go ahead and have Jeff come and talk a little bit about the tools. Go ahead, Mary.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. It is so great to connect with you today and to be here at Life School 101 TV. We have Jeff Cloud back with us today, and he's going to be sharing some of the tools from his book. And if you didn't get the opportunity to watch part one of this interview, I suggest that you do it because it is chock full of information for transformation. And that's what Jeff is really, really good at. So Jeff, welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here again.
So Jeff, let's just dive in. Let's talk about some of those tools that are included in your book.
We've been taught by, in my case, Catholic schools, religion, schools growing up, our parents, grandparents, family, and the media plays a massive part in it, in basically keeping us small, telling us how we're supposed to be to keep up with the Joneses and everything else, feeding us this lie that we need things in the external to be happy. And it's exactly 180 degrees the opposite. And once I figured that out, I was able to use these tools that I put in this book, which is a roadmap that I really wish I would have had when I was a teenager. So the way it started off is when I met Don Miguel Ruiz in 2001, I realized that all my beliefs were put there by somebody else, except for like two. The only two I kept was, number one was love is the answer in every case. And number two is we come into this world as unlimited sovereign beings. We are created in God's image. We are gods. We have unlimited potential. However, we are unlimited beings, but it appears that we're addicted to believing that we're not.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So this book is a roadmap of everything I learned from the 4 agreements, going down the rabbit hole, doing plant medicines, deciphering all of the programming that I saw that I had received through all these outlets that I described. So the first number one tool is being willing to look at your stuff. And I'll say stuff because this is cable TV. There may be some kids watching. Okay. Number one, accepting 100% ownership for everything that shows up in your life. This will change everything for you. So many people are pointing out there at the reason why they can't be happy in here. And again, it's 180 degrees backwards. When we clean up our inner garden, everything in the external world will begin to reflect that.
What you're talking about, when we can find ourselves and we can change our thoughts, and we can understand that it's not all about wealth and money and everything else. It's about happiness. And to me, to be happy, I mean, you have to have happy people around you. So I'm glad you got this book that we can actually help people with that. I love that idea, and I would love to read your book. I just think it would be the great next step for me is to read that book and learn more from you, because you do have so many tools that can be used. And so I wanted to share that little part of me, because when I want to play a little girl, I can be kind of funny, But I wanted to share that with you, is that's the pride of my life, is to be that happy, wonderful, playful child.
Thank you for that. It ties in beautifully to what we're talking about, because we come in, as I said in the last show, we come in as these wide-eyed babies with no limitations whatsoever, and then we start receiving all this programming. And the key is, we are all creative beings. Most people would rather be an artist or do something that they truly love than a lot of people that I work with that are doing jobs that the only reason they're doing it is because they have a house and a mortgage and a car and they want to keep up with the Joneses or whatever. Getting back to that little child, that playful child, is so important. So these tools are what will get you there and more. So the first thing is that I talked about is 100% ownership of everything that's showing up in your life. One of the biggest things that people do, and I personally believe it's the #1 addiction on the planet, it's judgment. It's not drugs, it's not alcohol, it's clearly judgment. Judgment of self, and then judgment of things in the external. So I have a tool in the book that really helps people start to cut this down like quick. And it's watching every judgment. It's becoming the watcher of every thought, every judgment, and every trigger. Every time you contract, feel small, feel fearful. There's a gift in every one of those. And instead of being in what I call in the book, running around in automatic reaction mode, or anything that doesn't line up with your belief, you make wrong. And you get triggered by it. Because people mistake their identity, they mistake their beliefs as their identity. And it's not true. Your beliefs are not who you are. Your beliefs are a program. So I talk about in the book, and you talked about using a rubber band around your wrist to notice every time you had a judgment throughout the day, and then journaling those during the evening to kind of bring those more into the light, to bring them into your awareness. So I talk about getting a little golf clicker that you take out on a golf course that fits in your hand, in your pocket, costs maybe $4 or $5. And every time you have a judgment that you catch, because in the beginning, a lot of people aren't even going to catch the judgment because they're running on automatic pilot. Mm-hmm. When you shift out of automatic response mode into learning and growth mode, and you go, oh, I just had a judgment. That's about me. It's not about anybody else out there. This is where a lot of people get tripped up, because they go, yeah, the government and the people that are, trafficking children. And yes, I understand. However, the #1 thing that we can do to change everything in the external world is to change everything in our internal world. So those are some of the tools.
Well, and I wanted to say, Jeff, that awareness is such a beautiful gift that doesn't, when it comes up, sometimes it doesn't appear to be a gift. Sometimes it appears to be a nightmare. And the gift in the awareness, at least for me, is understanding that when I see it for what it is, or if it's an agreement, or if it's a belief system that is no longer serving me, when I have the awareness to be able to see it, I can change it. And that's the gift in all of this. And so I highly celebrate, especially when something big comes up and I have that big aha moment. And sometimes it's shocking. It's like, whoa, I didn't even know. I had no idea. And it's a place of celebration because I have broken the code. I have broken that lie that I have been telling to myself, or I have been believing from outside of myself for so long now.
Beautiful. Awareness is everything. I say conscious awareness is the only game in town. There's nowhere else to go.
Right.
We must realize how we've been operating these programs and drop into our heart. And every time we have a judgment, the tool is to notice it, ask, what is that about me? And then to turn that judgment into compassion and self-love for myself or anybody that I just judged. I don't care if it's somebody in the war in Syria, the government. When we shine the light of compassion on somebody, we start to diffuse that energy. When we judge other people, we are at war. Every judgment is a war with what is. And we are inviting and actually attracting more of what we judge into our life. Watch anybody that's a judgeaholic. Notice that they have a pattern of unhappiness and drama cycling through their lives. So 100% ownership and watching every reaction that we have and asking 5 of the most powerful words. What is the gift here? It's all about you, not about somebody else. Again, unless they're physically assaulting you or verbally abusing you over and over, then get out. But this is the way we shift everything. And we can do it and have fun doing it as well. We can make it a game.
That's what I was gonna say too, is that I've noticed when I went out and I put some of your tools to use, and one point you had said to bring a notebook and just write down what the word had come in your mind when you noticed that you were being judgmental. So instead of doing that, I drew these pictures. Okay, so I had happy face, mad face, or da-da, and there's little things going up in my head. I don't understand, or whatever. And it's kind of funny because then when I get home to write this down, it's like, what was it? It's just so funny. And laughter has been a big part of my life. I love to laugh. I do. But most of the time, you have to take things serious, but that doesn't mean that you can't take things serious and do the hard work and then take a look back at it and say, that's beautiful. Or, it's like when I do writing or drawing or whatever, I do it because it makes me happy. It's fun, and it gets me out of my own way, out of my own drama or my own way. And another thing, too, that I learned from you is people are going to be who they are, and you can't change them. They're going to be who they are. And to accept that, you have to accept, if you're going to have a relationship with them, whether it's a husband or whatever, then you need to accept them just the way that they are. Just the way that they are. And, this is something that my husband and I have great relationship, and he does things his way. I do things my way, but we come together with such a great love. We play with teddy bears. I'm sorry, but we do. We're going to be celebrating our 20-year anniversary, May 7th.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to share that part with you, and you've just got so much knowledge and so much more that we can learn. And I want to get back to the idea is that we are stopping ourselves from being the great people that we can be. So if you had an idea for somebody, what can they do to first notice how beautiful their life is? What is the one thing that they can go to start noticing that?
The number one thing that'll attract magic and miracles into your life is gratitude. When you wake up in the morning, are you grateful for another day, another breath? I have a process where I create my day every morning. As soon as I realize that I just came out of what we call sleeping dream into the waking dream, I immediately go into gratitude and I create my day with my intention. And I can guarantee you, since I started doing that on a regular basis, I rarely have a bad day. And when we start to focus on everything that's good in our life, more of that just starts to show up. It's the law of attraction.
Yep.
It really is. And also being playful. I love that you draw a smiley face or a frowny face from noticing your judgments or your actions. And here's why. It does take some effort to create this shift in awareness. Nothing else will change things in your life greater than raising your conscious awareness. And it doesn't do us any good to judge ourselves more for noticing that we just had a judgment. So when you can laugh and go, okay, there I go again, that's okay. But I noticed it this time. Instead of just reacting, I noticed it. That's massive. Some people will go through their entire life and never step out of judgment mode. They just, if anything that doesn't match their belief, they judge it. that is somebody living as a prisoner. Not projecting that on anybody, but that's what it is. So this is a work moving forward for all of us.
And you were
This is
talking
why
about,
we want to surround ourselves.
yeah, you were talking about that too, Mary, incorporating that in your life and the things that you do. So, I mean, I think we're connecting, all three of us right now, with the knowledge that you're sharing with us, Jeff, and it's so appreciated. And I'm sure that the audiences here are going to really get away with that. Did you hear that? No. I made a blooper. Never mind. Okay. So anyway, we want to bring it back to... I can do that, I guess. I'll just put a little blooper thing on my head. Anyway, I want to give Mary an opportunity. She never does bloopers. You know that? She never does it. But anyway, Mary, I want to give you an opportunity to share just a little bit of your wisdom and things that you've learned from Jeff around his book and around everything great about him, because I know you got more knowledge than anybody about Jeff Cloud.
Well, thank you. And well, Jeff, I appreciate so much of what you're saying. And for me, in teaching this material as well as using these sacred tools, it makes an incredible difference in your life when you come to a level of true awareness. And I think that there's obvious levels of awareness, but there's also those unobvious levels where we self-sabotage at those unconscious levels, where we do things in our life that we're not even aware that we are doing. And I'm talking about from emotional and behavioral patterns to how we interact with a mate or a spouse, or even our own mindset as far as what we're here to do in this life. And when you take it to those deeper levels of consciousness, that's where this true work begins. And I know that your tools go deeper into that. So will you speak on that a bit?
Sure. And I just want to reaffirm, Mary didn't learn everything she knows from me. She has massive wisdom on her own, and I learned very much from her as well.
Oh, see that?
So I don't want this to be all one-sided. We all have our amazing gifts to share, and we're all mirrors for each other. However, when we surround ourselves with people that truly show up to support us and love us, but are also willing to mirror us through some patterns that we may be doing that we're unaware of, that's a true friend. You know, that's a real true friend that can deliver a message that might hurt a little bit, but they deliver it with so much love that we're really grateful, because we can't see everything. You know, unless you've done a lot of this work, you're not going to catch every trigger. You're not going to know when you're contracting. You know, I've just taught myself to watch every thought, and my body is so sensitive as an empath that I can feel every single thought that I have. And I still have to monitor it, because I can run on for 15, 20 minutes, a half hour, whatever, and then go, oh, wow, I've been letting that story run or that pattern run or whatever. But I keep it in really close check, and I check in at the end of my day, and I have specific tools that I use, that we use in these programs and in these deep work, 2-hour sessions that I do with people, where the tools are there. If you truly want to start taking control of your life and really start creating a life of freedom and passion and really being on purpose, whatever your purpose is in this dream, to be a great mother, to be a great friend. It could be to be the best server at a restaurant. There's no hierarchy, but the number one key really to living a fulfilling life is to really do something you're passionate about. And that's where I've worked with people that quit their job the next week. You're just like, I'm done. And it wasn't necessarily the invitation that I gave them. They were already there and ready to go. So again, these tools to go deeper are in, number one, the person being willing to show up, being willing to be vulnerable. Our vulnerability is our greatest strength, but so many people don't want to go there, and they push it down. So they put all these blockades and barriers on top of it. That's where all the gold is. That's where all the gold is. And when we resonate with teachers or people that we love, it's the people that are willing to be vulnerable. I'm not a guy that goes, I've got it all together. I'm a self-mastery mentor. I never make a mistake. No, I've been on the verge of suicide. I've been down the road of drugs, alcohol, plant medicines, which I don't knock at all. Highly recommended in safe settings for people if you choose to go that route. You know, for me, these things that we're taught by society are not okay. When we're forced all these pharmaceuticals that are toxic as hell, you start to wake up and go, wait a minute, natural plants were put here on the earth for a reason. Now, I'm not advocating anything for anybody. I'm just saying, you know, I've been to the edge. And the people that I know that are really doing some of the deepest work on the planet have been to the edge. Whether they wanted to go there or not, those are the things that make us go really deep. So it's in the questions that I get to ask people when they show up, you know, and they usually 99 times out of 99, they lead back to the childhood.
It's funny, we were having a conversation today about a friend that was maybe in a place that was not good. And there are times when you can't be helpful, but you can be a listener. But as Mary was saying, you can also guide to their first step. So that's where I think I have my problem. And so I wanted to ask you about that, Jeff. How we can be helpful but not be judgmental, but not beat ourselves up for not being able to do anything. So do you have tools for that, not being able to, say, help somebody in a way that they need to be helped?
Well, people have boundaries, and we need to respect that. So if I notice that somebody is acting in a certain way, or somebody is having a particular repetitive issue, or somebody's just angry or sad, or you know, I can feel people's energy. Yeah. Their story and their words tell a lot, but I can feel it as well. There's a difference between inviting somebody to create an opening for safe conversation versus projecting and saying, I never use the words you need to, or you should, or that's me projecting my own beliefs onto somebody. Mm-hmm. Anytime I do a session or do work with people, the words are, here's the invitation. Even if I know what they need to do, I can clearly see it. We never want to project, because it's the way the energy is received from somebody. If we project our own beliefs, or we say you need to or you should, they're going to get defensive.
Exactly.
So when we give somebody an invitation, oh, sweetie, is something, you seem to be sad. What's going on with you? We just create an opening. If they want to speak about it, they will. It's not our business to pry into somebody's dream if they don't particularly want that. And sometimes that's painful for us, because we can truly see that we can help somebody if they'd just be willing to go there, but we can't force somebody to go into a wound if they're not ready. So that's why I do my best to just create the safest, sacred space when I show up to engage with somebody. Did that answer your question?
Yes, and thank you very much. I mean, it does help me to know that I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to know everything, you know. It's more so that somebody can let me know. Whether they want to share it or not, that's up to them. And so I like the way that you talked about an invite, and I like the way you talked about that. And it's just so great to know that there is, without judging somebody, there is something that, you know, that we can take away from understanding that somebody is in pain, whether we can help or not. It's the understanding of it, you know, the understanding, and just knowing that you can be somebody that can be understanding. And Mary, you were talking a lot about that this morning too, is supporting people when you really can't, you don't want to change their minds, or you don't want to make them feel bad or anything like that, but it's kind of like helping them to understand that it is an invitation, like Jeff said. You know, you're there. You're there. You're in there. You're in that space if that's where they want you to be. And so I want to thank both of you for that, because that was something that I was questioning today, and I'm glad that I got such awesome answers. And yeah, really glad.
May I just share one more thing really quick, and I'll make it super short?
Sure.
We can actually affect somebody else's life by just sending them compassion.
Yeah.
Even if we don't say anything to them. I've shifted my relationship with people in this world, even family, by just sending them loving compassion and not reacting when they show their behaviors. So it's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Compassion is the key for all of us moving forward, whether it's for people that are hateful, people that are racist. We're never going to change them by going against them and battling them. Mm-hmm. It's only through understanding. Only hurt people hurt other people. So we meet them with compassion. Huge tool. We can go into that another time if
that would be
we're
great.
Blessed to get into.
Does that mean that you're going to come back?
I'd love to come back anytime you'd love to have me. This is my why for what I do, and to be surrounded by two amazing women like yourselves. I'm home.
Jeff, could you tell people how they can get a hold of you, your email, your information, where they can find out more about you?
My website is called thesourceoftruth.com. The Source of Truth. It's about your truth, your heart, and your way. It's not about my truth. You need to learn my truth. So it's thesourceoftruth.com. And for anybody that's interested in doing some really deep work and having a breakthrough in a very safe container, anybody that watches this show, if they reach out to me on Facebook or through email, I'm willing to do a 90-minute to 2-hour super in-depth session for half of my normal rate. And I'm also willing to give anybody that watches this show my new book, Waking Up in the Dream, at half price as well. Just reach out and PM me, friend me on Facebook, and I'm happy to do it. Yeah, thank you for that.
And thank you, Jeff, for being here with us and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with the audience for Life School 101 TV. We really appreciate it in a huge way, because it is conversations like this that change the dynamics of this planet. When we do that internal work and we choose to be aware of our thoughts, our judgments, how we are moving around in the world, we can then make the changes necessary to not only make ourselves happier and to live a more fulfilled life, but to also connect with other people at a deeper level. And that will create change in every dimension. So thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone out there, for watching. We appreciate you being here with us. Be sure to go to our new website, lifeschool101.tv. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and soon to be on Twitter. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us.
My little girl, well, she means everything to me. She can lift me up, take me down. She can see inside of me, and I'm all rolled up inside her little arms tonight. There's no other place I'd